A multifaceted strategic action, the Chinese warship's shadowing of the U.S. Navy's Nimitz-Class carrier in the South China Sea is not only a provocation, but also an attempt to accomplish particular goals. Most importantly, it gives China the chance to obtain vital military intelligence through the use of sophisticated surveillance technology. In order to optimize their weapons, such as the DF-21D missiles, which are frequently referred to as carrier strike group missiles, China can monitor the aircraft deployment speeds, communication frequencies, and coordination techniques among the vessels in the carrier strike group, asserting its irrational claims of sovereignty over the South China Sea by tailing the Nimitz is what Killer's Second is doing. Beijing puts Southeast Asian countries under more psychological pressure by sending the message that it can monitor and regulate all military operations in the area. This move tests our reaction thresholds. If Washington reacts poorly, China may use it to step up militarization efforts, such as putting more warships or building new bases in disputed areas. If the US reacts strongly, China may examine its Do-Jiu Afro response tactics and modify its Strat IES going forward. Lastly, this is a component of China's psychological warfare strategy, which aims to undermine the US Navy's invincibility and credibility, coupled with the fact that the most potent aircraft carrier in the world is stationed there under strict surveillance, may lead us allies to doubt Washington's commitment to regional security and reevaluate their overall relationship with Beijing. These factors show that China is strategically reshaping the South China Sea's power dynamics by shadowing the Nimitz. Will the conflict between these two military superpowers intensify into direct combat, or is this only a part of a bigger game of strategy? Please share your thoughts and remember to like and share if you think this topic is interesting so that you can be informed of any updates to this situation. The US Navy uses extremely meticulous and advanced countermeasures in addition to military might. The Navy's main objective is to maintain constant situational awareness and guarantee the complete safety of the carrier when a Chinese warship starts to shadow a US aircraft carrier. Radar and sonar systems continuously track the movements of Chinese warships while P-8 aircraft of Poseidon. In addition to using active defense tactics, the US Navy uses advanced reconnaissance aircraft to carry out aerial surveillance missions. The destroyers and cruisers accompanying the carrier are positioned in protective formations, forming a security perimeter around the carrier. This guarantees that any potential threat is identified and eliminated at a distance before it can get close to the carrier. Additionally, communication is essential to the US response plan. When Chinese warships approach at a dangerous distance, US commanders can implement a variety of warning measures, such as sounding audio and light signals, or deploying patrol helicopters around the area. The Navy regularly uses international communication channels to directly contact Chinese vessels through these exchanges, requesting that the opposing ships maintain a safe distance and adhere to maritime operational regulations. These communications aim to de-escalate tensions as well as determine the intent of the opposing side, preventing any misunderstandings that could lead to conflict. These deterrent measures make it abundantly evident that any act of aggression will be met with swift retribution. In order to protect its communications and thwart Chinese surveillance efforts, the US also uses electronic warfare tools. 1. Such tool is jamming the opponent's radar or communication signals, which keeps US carriers and their escort ships safe from important information leaks. Another crucial element is the use of reconnaissance unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. These high-altitude drones not only keep an eye on the enemy ships, but also collect intelligence on China's actions in the area during the most tense times. To protect the aircraft carrier barrier, the US may initiate emergency action protocols, which would involve sending more warships and fighter jets to the region. These actions demonstrate the US Navy's overall preparedness to handle any situation. Shadowing US carriers is not a novel occurrence. It has long been a common aspect of naval exchanges between the US and China. When the USS Decadron was conducting a freedom of navigation operation near the Spratly Islands in 2018, a Chinese destroyer came dangerously close within 45 yards, or 41 meters, forcing the Decadron to maneuver quickly to avoid a collision. Although most encounters end without incident, there have been instances where tensions have nearly escalated. In 2020, smaller ship carriers like the US Nimitz have experienced similar circumstances. Several Chinese warships kept a close eye on the Nimitz during a well-publicized deployment to the South China Sea. These conflicts are a part of the larger global strategic rivalry between the US and China, and go beyond simple escalations of hostility between the two countries. What do? You think about these? Can the US continue to be resilient during standoffs in future encounters? In addition to being tactical maneuvers, these surveillance activities are part of a fierce geopolitical struggle between the US and China.